so it's probably pretty hard to see right now, but there's the aquascaping. Here is where the cave will be, but there was no big enough pieces to form the cap of the cave, so it's just kind of in process. This is the area, what I'll refer to as the flat wall, that we wanted to put maybe some sea fans poking out from there. And then this is the sloping end, possibly with an anemone right up in there somewhere. So now what we've done is put the rock in first, and then we'll follow it up with the sand. This way, again, the rock is securely sitting on the bottom of the tank, and the sand will pack in around it. Also offers us an opportunity to siphon off the debris from the rock that's settled at the bottom of the tank.
So once again, we'll take advantage of the displacement, in this case of the live sand, and use that water we're going to siphon out to vacuum the debris off the bottom of the aquarium. It now comes time to add the live sand to the tank, and the question is, how are we going to do it? We could take and scoop it, one scoop at a time, as we have with other tanks, or we could take and lift the entire bag up into the tank and pour it into position.
Just thinking about that a second ago, and I thought, I could scoop it, but this way, it kind of accomplishes the same thing, just a little bit faster.
By immersing the entire bag into the aquarium and then slowly inverting it, we can actually pour the live sand into the spots that we would want to place it. It also, to a degree, helps reduce the amount of stirred up haze in the water.
So this is from Florida, not anywhere exotic.
The sand?
Yeah.
Yes.
The amount of live sand is totally dependent upon what it is you're trying to accomplish. In our case, we're trying to give the resemblance of the bottom of the ocean and seed the tank with some small amounts of life. Alternatives would be a deep sand bed with a chemical denitration process in place. Now, I did say only to a certain degree would directing the live sand into the tank help reduce the stirred up haze within the water. Obviously, you can see it's an abundance of sediment that's stirred up and clouding the water. This is where that micron sock in the open sump below will come into place. It'll probably take a day to polish or remove those fine particles from the tank. In the meantime, we need to add back some new salt water to the system. So we've now added the initial or original seed to the tank. The live rock and the live sand contain many different types of life. With that in the system now, it's actually become a living organism and will begin to behave in its own independent way. But the beginning of this 100-gallon reef tank has now started with the addition of the live rock and the live sand. So let's go ahead and plug in the system and get it running.
Okay, I do have to admit, the new Japanese version of the Iwaki pump is considerably quieter. And the housewife accepts this lower level of noise and seems to be pleased. So that's a good thing for both of us. So now all we can do is wait for it to clear up to get a better idea as to what it ultimately looks like inside the tank. We'll get the protein skimmer running here shortly. We will not be running the calcium reactor for a while.
But we will want to monitor the protein skimmer over the course of the next few days. With the addition of the live rock and the introduction of various organisms, living organisms, into the system, it'll cause the protein skimmer to react differently than it has here recently. So now with the live rock and the live sand in the system, technically the biological cycle has now started. The introduction of all the bacteria in the live rock and live sand will help speed up that process, so we anticipate a 2 to 3 week biological or nitrification cycle. We'll come back after that, test the water, and then we're going to drain 100% of that water and replenish it with new salt water, real ocean water.